on that rooster. Just one look, now that poor cluck, his goose is cooked. The cow, the owl, and the waterfowl moo and hoo and squawk. Some birds with a feather shouldn't flock together like the goose and the big red cock. Like the goose and the big red cock. Like the goose and the big red cock. Like the goose and the big red cock.
Howdy ho, boys and girls. It's your pal Van here. I'm coming to you from the Mississippi Gulf Coast, the land of Biloxi blues, unfettered capitalism, meth, and the opioid crisis. Beautiful beaches, beautiful people, kindness, and gambling problems. Let's see what we can get into today, shall we? Starting out this morning here on Long Beach, Mississippi. And I'm just a little ways down from Biloxi. This is actually where I spent the night last night, and it was really awesome. We had a solar eclipse last night, and I was able to park in the parking lot right over there, where I backed up my vehicle, like facing the Gulf, and I had a perfect view of eclipse. I managed to get the eclipse on time-lapse video. I parked myself up on top of the lawn on top of the van and set up in the old Lawnchair and recorded throughout the night into the morning, and it actually turned out really cool. I'm gonna take you around to the front over here. There's a little pavilion set up with restrooms up on top, which of course you know Van is going to always park or be near restrooms. That is a guarantee. This is kind of a neat building. They have the high water marks for the last few hurricanes. I kind of wanted to give you an idea of what the storm surge was like for both Hurricanes Camille, which happened in 1969, and Hurricane Katrina, which we all know happened in 2005. Now, I'm standing down at ground level, pretty much the same level as the beach is. And if you look over here, if you look up from me, you can see where the high water marks were for both of those hurricanes. High water mark for Camille, 21.6 feet. And then if you look even further above that, you'll see Hurricane Katrina, 25 feet above. Now, if I go up, I can go up almost, I guess, to about 12 feet and look across. Yeah, this is about the halfway mark. If you look across, you can just imagine I'm still above most of the land that goes back for miles. So double that, and all this was completely underwater. Devastation was absolutely enormous, Dad, in this area. I believe it was 236 people that lost their lives in the hurricane. Just down a ways from Long Beach, you run into Gulfport. Gulfport is the home of the municipal marina, and interestingly enough, it's also the home of the Semen Center. Now, I was a little confused when I saw this, because I thought I might be able to get a little cash out of making a donation. So I walked in, and I had a little cup with me, and apparently the Semen Center is not what I thought it was. Here's a feel-good story for you. So in 1862, Major General Benjamin Butler formed the Louisiana Native Guard. Now, the Native Guard consisted of mainly slaves, former slaves, and freemen from Louisiana. And they were stationed about 12 miles off the coast of where I'm located right here on Ship Island. Ship Island's kind of an interesting place. It was initially held by the Spanish and the French, then the British, and then eventually in the 1860s by the Union Army. So in 1863, Major General Butler got his troops together, and they landed here and invaded the town of Pascagoula. They were able to beat the living shit out of Whitey, even though their numbers were outnumbered 2-1. And they managed to hold the whole town for a good 3 or 4 hours before reinforcements started coming in, Confederate reinforcements. And then they hightailed it back here, got in their boats, went back to Ship Island, which they managed to hold throughout the entire Civil War, a very strategic location that the Confederate Army was never able to take away from them. And this is considered the very first time that men of color on the Union side fought in actual battle during the Civil War and whoop Whitey's ass. Now this is interesting, folks. What kind of trip would it be to Biloxi without visiting a presidential library? Now, this presidential library was the former home of Sarah Dorsey. Sarah Dorsey, being a widow, I suppose at some point in time got really desperate for little D. So she invited a certain someone to stay in a cottage out back near the Confederate cemetery and write his memoirs. Later on, he would go on to write The Rise and Fall of the Confederacy. Yes, indeed, folks, I'm speaking none other than guy who never really was president of this country, Jefferson Davis. Who wouldn't love to wander around these sacred halls and see all the history of the Confederate South? It's only $13.50. Nah, I'm just kidding. I ain't going in this place. Hell no. So folks, I'm here at the Biloxi Visitor Center, and it is really spectacular. Yeah, it has a lot of different sections that discuss all kinds of various historical moments going back to the Native Americans, to the French, the Spanish, the Confederate forces, the Union Army, into World War II. Yeah, it is really, really a cool place. I don't want to film too much in here because I don't know. It just doesn't seem too right. But if you come to Biloxi, you would be greatly appreciative to visit this great building. I mean, it's really cool, and they pull no punches and cover a lot of really good history. So yeah, I'll get quiet now and move on. So yeah, it looks like that's going to be about it from the Mississippi Gulf Coast. I really wanted to end this video with a big bang, but apparently, who would have thought this possible? Pulling up to the Stennis Space Center is not a good idea in a giant van. And regardless what you're driving, they are not letting you in the gates. God damn NASA. I just figured I looked friendly enough. But apparently not. I don't know. Maybe next time. So I guess I'm gonna head out of my way and off to Louisiana and Texas next. But in the meantime, remember, we've learned some valuable lessons today. Don't try to get into NASA unless you're supposed to be there. And semen with an A is a way different thing than semen without an A. Keep that in mind. I know you didn't realize it. So once again, it's your old pal Van saying sayonara, arrivederci, auf Wiedersehen, a bientôt. God damn it, not again. Laters!
The poultry pack, there's nothing left but bones and feathers and a bloody mess. So the moral is, careful what you do, 'cause the status quo
Remember to like and subscribe so you can learn more lessons like the ones you learned today.